Hello and welcome to Self Power Now, where empowering women share their stories and advice about life, work, happiness, love, and success. I'm your host, Debbie Giussoni, and I'm so glad you're here with us today. So sit back and enjoy the show. Today, we're talking to Anita Kumari, who's an award-winning coach, author, speaker, poet, and entrepreneur who's been featured on US Network TV and also India TV. She's the founder of HappinessFactors, which bridges Eastern and Western methods for mental illness. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm so delighted to be on your show and share some happiness and some mental wellness.
We all want to share happiness with each other. And, you know, many of us get into this field of happiness or self-help because we want to teach other people what we've learned in our own lives. I know for me, a lot of my books come from my personal experiences and how I overcame challenges in life and got to happiness. And you and I are kindred spirits because we're both goddesses of happiness, right? And I know when I met you the first time, I felt like you project so much, you know, confidence and happiness now, but I also know that that was not always the case in your life. You actually were a survivor, or as you call it, a thriver of domestic abuse from your ex-husband. Can you tell us a little bit about that time in your life and what was going on?
Sure. So I came here with him. So basically, I was brand new to the US, so I didn't know much about anything here. And we were childhood friends, so he knew me growing up. And once we were here and once I found a job, I started getting more successful than him, as well as won several awards like Outstanding Poet of the Year. That time I was on Dean Scholar list for my MBA. And I constantly used to get put with the senior executives, even at work.
Now, you
And
came
he
from
was
India
like that.
together, right? So did you have an arranged marriage,
No,
Anita? No.
he was
Okay.
my childhood friend. My parents were totally against me marrying him because
Oh,
they
the
knew that he would
opposite
never
of what
keep
I
my
thought.
happy. Yeah. Actually, my dad had told my mom that I don't want her to marry him because he can never make her happy. And
Oh,
now I know
interesting.
why, because he saw the mental issues or narcissistic
Oh,
tendencies
yeah.
because he was much more experienced. I was just a naive teenager at that time.
Oh, how old were you when you got married?
Um, when I was married, I think I should be more around 18, but when I said yes to him, I was 16.
Wow. Wow.
And in India, usually we have arranged marriages. All my sisters have had arranged marriages and my brothers too. And I thought I have to marry someone. So why not marry someone who says he'll kill himself if I don't marry him?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Now I know better. So now that gives you the idea how
That's a
much.
big red flag right at the beginning of the marriage.
Yeah, just before. Yeah. So, but that time, because I had never seen anything bad, and also I grew up in a very sheltered atmosphere at home, a very loving environment where everyone was honest and nice. So I never knew such bad people even existed.
Yes.
So when
Although
I
you
came,
knew him from a child, so you must have known something about him, right?
I know, but that time we just say, oh, he just behaves that way. Something like
Mm,
that, right? We
yeah.
just give
Yeah.
the benefit of doubt because I didn't know that anyone can be that bad. I
Mm,
only know now because I've grown up and I've seen that, right?
yes. Yes. So what happened?
So what happened is I don't know whether it was because of me getting very successful too soon or he got more and more insecure, and the more insecure he got, the more controlling he got, to the extent that he even tried to put a knife to my throat, like to
Oh my goodness.
threaten me so that I don't do anything without telling him, or I wasn't even allowed to have friends other than his friends' wives, so that he
Mm,
knows everything I do. And he was too controlling, and but to the point, like some people, even if they want to keep you, they will be better to you, right? Nicer to you, because then you won't leave. But his way was more like threat and more, I would say, abusing me physically, verbally, to the point that I used
mm,
to go to my PCP a lot, and then I was referred to a therapist who started advising me to leave while I still could in one piece. I wasn't
mm.
willing to because I'm from a different culture and I hadn't seen that. I used to just think, okay, if I change this about myself, that about myself, he will change. But that never happened. So
So
I
you
stopped.
went to a therapist to change yourself,
Yeah.
thinking that you had to change yourself because he
Yeah.
was so controlling and you wanted to please him.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
and I loved him, right? And also
Mm.
the problem was that because my therapist thought I was almost suicidal, so she was trying to put me on antidepressants, which would have made the problem worse if I had gotten
Mm.
symptom
Oh my
relief,
gosh. Oh my
right?
gosh. Yeah.
So, uh, so that's when. But after a few years, after I had miscarriage because of him, and I also like one of the last vacations I went with him, I was almost sure that he's going to kill me and no one will know what
Oh,
happened to me.
oh
So,
gosh. It sounds like a
because
bad movie. A bad
I know I can make it totally into a movie. But anyway,
Ah,
so after that, I think that was the last straw. And then,
yeah.
even though I thought, okay, I'm better off dead than alive, but the values my
Mm,
parents taught me growing up, and I really love my parents, even though they are no longer in the physical world anymore. But I
mhm,
feel them watching over me, and I thought, okay, my dad, what would my dad say if I was
mm.
dead, right?
And were they alive at the time that this was going
My
on?
mom was alive at that time, but
Mm.
I never
And did
told
she
her.
know? Oh, you never told her. Did you
I
open up to friends, other friends
Yes,
or
I
family?
I did
Yeah.
open up to some friends, and also my ex-colleagues used to notice. They used to say, "Everyone is happy on a Friday that they are getting a weekend off, but we see that you look very, very like scared.
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
matter?" And then one or two of them, I even told them about, oh, he put the knife to my throat or he tried to strangle me. But then I would say, no, it's just like he's never going to do anything. Like I would still make
You
excuses
don't
for him.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're kind
and
of in
then.
denial, right?
Yeah, and not just denial. I think if you're abused over a period of years, you start making excuses for the abuser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like if you saw in the news recently about Gabby Petito, when the police had stopped the car, even though she was the one crying and they were questioning her, but she was saying, "Oh yeah, he was mad at me for this thing I didn't do well, but it's my fault because I should have done it better." So I was like,
Mm.
basically. So they had let them go, right? And later on, she was dead. So I think that after a while, like you start making excuses because you are so down, you feel not even good enough to live. So just the very fact that he's living with you makes you feel okay, they are doing you a favor by living with
Mm.
you.
I'm so grateful that you're talking about this because it seems like a very classic bad toxic relationship that a lot of women I think find themselves into where the man gets controlling or he does not appreciate or he cannot deal with a woman's success, which happens a lot, and they get more and more controlling, as you're saying. And many women then they start wearing down your own self-confidence and your own ability to get out of the situation. But what was it about your situation that you felt like you could get out of? Because many women in that situation cannot
I know.
break through. What was
Actually,
it
one
that
of my
gave you?
ex-colleagues also used to say that if you wait too long, then you will end up dead, and people can only like feel sorry. They cannot do anything. So,
Yes, yes.
so
So
I
you
would
had a pretty good support system with some friends.
not that these were my ex-colleagues,
Okay.
not my exactly my friends, because I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to hang out that much. But I did have a couple of friends from
Mhm.
other work and stuff. But the problem is most of the time because I used to feel ashamed that it's my fault. I wouldn't discuss it
Yeah.
with many
Yeah.
people, only very few, because I didn't feel good. I never blamed him, right? If I had blamed him, I would have discussed with more people. And I would say the values my parents taught growing up, that life is so precious. Even in my culture, we believe that after so many millions of years, you get the life of a human being. So make
Mhm.
the most of it. That was, I think, one of the things which kept me going, and which even kept me like, and I think also that miscarriage I had
Mm.
because of him, was one excuse I could not make for him, no
Mm.
matter how hard I tried, right? Because it was more pain for me than
Yes.
anything else he had done, because other things I could get over, but that I could not get
Did
over.
he
And
cause the miscarriage?
yes, he
Oh.
he used to say, I won't share you with anyone, not even a child. So
Oh
I
my
wasn't allowed
goodness.
to have a child, basically. So yeah, so it
So
was
how did that seems
sorry.
unbelievable.
I know. It's like
Mm,
a storybook thing. And
mhm.
also, see, even when I left, he knew that I didn't have much of a support system. I almost like my therapist had told me to hire an attorney,
Mhm.
but he convinced me that attorneys take all the money and people gossip because we had common classmates, right? We are from
Yeah.
school. And
Yeah.
he told me not to tell anything to them, which I didn't. And he told all BS about me, which had no substance. But what had happened is, so I was left totally alone. So he made me give him the power of attorney, which I
Wow.
did. And so I didn't have an attorney, but he had two in the back end, which I didn't know. And he used to say that if I ever leave, he will kill himself, set the house on fire. We used to have a nice house near the Santana Row. So because of the power of attorney, I don't have all that anymore.
So how did you leave? What gave you the strength to actually leave?
My strength was the values and my parents' love, which I still felt, even though they weren't there. And I really knew that if something bad happens to me, my mom would totally die. Because I didn't tell her much, but my mom was so perceptive. Like when I was
Yes.
scared,
Well, they know when you're happy, right? Your
yeah.
parents.
No, she used to say, "You think you won't tell me, and I won't know. I'm your mother." Frankly, her words.
So didn't you fear for your life though when you left?
I did. I took a restraining order, but the thing is, that time I didn't feel good enough to live. So for me, just surviving was. I left with few clothes, nothing else. Like people, even my when I in my MBA, one of my professors, she could see the sadness the back of my eyes. She used to ask me, like, you get good grades, you are successful, why are you like always so I see sadness
Yeah.
behind your eyes. And I had told her a little bit, and they all had told me, like, if you ever want to like separate, just kick him out. But I at that time I wasn't, I would say, not just this savvy, but also like I would say, like, I wasn't I didn't even feel good enough for
Yeah.
anything. So
How old
basically
were you? How old were you at that time?
that I won't say in the
Oh,
podcast.
okay. I'm just wondering, like you said, you got married really young, like,
Yeah. But
and
yeah,
how many years were you with this
I
gentleman?
was with him for a long time.
Oh, okay. So this was going
For a-
on for a very
Yeah,
long
it was
time.
going on and it gradually happened. Like people, common
Yeah.
friends used to say, Anita used to laugh so much. Why doesn't she even smile anymore? And I never noticed.
Yes. Yes.
And my ex used to say, oh, that's what happens when people grow up.
Yeah. So it was like this gradual wearing
Yeah,
down of
yeah,
your
yeah.
self-confidence, and oh, how horrible, how horrible. So you did get out of it. You were in therapy. What did you learn about yourself from that relationship and from the therapy?
I would say from the relationship, it took me several years to forgive myself more than even to forgive him, because even though he
Yes.
used to threaten me with like killing me, killing himself, setting house on fire, as soon as I signed the papers, he got married
Oh gosh, that poor other woman.
within a month, right? And anyway, so I didn't know about it. One of my common classmates told me about it, and that
Uh,
also 1 year later, that she saw some pictures or something. And
uh-huh.
so, but I would say, like, my strength, that was your question, right? My
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
did my strength was the love of my parents and also the values they taught me growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left, I didn't have any place to go. I didn't have money. I didn't have a job. I left with a few clothes. I stayed at a friend's house for, I would say, a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found a job and then I moved into an apartment where I slept on the floor for a few months till I could buy my furniture.
Right. Well, I always say relationships are the one classroom that we all learn from in
Yes,
life.
a lot.
What did you learn from that relationship about yourself and about relationships in general and moving forward?
Yes. So I would say right now I can totally see, because I'm also in the mental wellness industry and I've healed. I've taken several years to heal, but I would say I learned that if someone else's actions is not your fault, so you shouldn't let them make you feel guilty about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even normally, of course, everyone feels sorry when someone cries or someone is sad, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that shouldn't be a weapon people should use against you, which he used to do. Like once or twice when I had got really mad at what he did, and like once he had hit me with shoe on, and I couldn't walk for a few months.
Oh
But
my
then I was
goodness.
going to call police, but then he used to start crying. Oh yeah, and I used to start feeling sorry for him. So I would say
Yes,
never let
yes.
them do
It's
that. And
very manipulative, but it is a
yes,
pattern.
so
It is a
yeah, so
pattern
that's
in a relationship, in these
yes.
controlling. Yeah.
Yes. So I would
Mhm.
say, and also I would say I was at least, I would say, wise enough not to rush into another relationship, because many people tried to set me up, or my family was trying to get me married off and things like that.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
glad I let myself heal, because if I had gone that time, I would go with the same baggage
Mhm. Mhm.
and bleed on someone who hasn't hurt me, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I would say I wouldn't trust anyone that much like I did. And also I would say it was for me, it was a very growing up experience. I learned how to manage my finances, open my startup, filed
Be
tax.
independent, right?
Yes,
Because you
yeah, I
came
got
here with
totally
him from another
independent.
country, yeah.
Yes, and that time with him, I wouldn't even like drive to a grocery store on my own. I was so scared. Now I can
Mm,
go anywhere alone pretty much.
mm.
And I think now I can pretty much thrive on my own. I don't need anyone else. And I also learned that you should not feel that you are not whole without any relationship. You are whole by yourself. So when you are whole and start loving yourself a lot, then you attract the right kind of relationships which you want to be in. Like even right now, my friends say, okay, oh, go out with that, I mean, that person likes you, that person thinks you're pretty. That doesn't mean anything to me, because unless a person adds value to my life, I'm not interested. I have a full life
I
and
love
I'm
that.
doing things that can make someone happier, right? Creating mental wellness solutions. So unless someone adds value,
Mhm.
I don't can't make time for them.
That is such a healthy statement to
Thank
make.
you. But it took
And
a long time to come to this
yeah, it doesn't happen
maturity. Yeah.
overnight. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, now you seem so bubbly and so beautiful, and
Yes.
you can even laugh about some of this stuff,
Yes.
like being hit with the shoe and not
Yeah.
being able to walk. But I'm sure going through it, it was very, very, very serious. But sometimes challenges in our life get put there for a reason, so that we can see the difference at the other end, and we can learn from those mistakes. And it sounds like you have certainly learned from your mistakes. You mentioned your background and your beliefs and how you grew up. What spiritual beliefs did you grow up with that actually helped you through these challenging times?
So I will say, like, I'm from Sanatan Dharma, which is a form
Mhm.
of Hinduism. And
Mhm.
what that teaches is, like, there is God inside everyone.
Mhm.
And that's why you treat everyone well, because you don't know what
Yes.
form the God, like it can come in your form or my form, right? Doesn't
Yes. Yes.
matter. And also karma. Karma is like whatever you give out will come back to you. So try
Mhm.
not to
Mhm.
do anything
In
bad.
this lifetime or another, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what. And also, I grew up with yoga and meditation. That helps you keep very grounded. And
Yes.
naturally, I would say naturally it makes you make the right choices rather than the wrong ones. Like
Yes.
that day, I was interviewing one of the very famous meditation gurus works with Chopra Global, and he was saying that as soon as he started meditating, he gave up smoking. He gave up drinking, and
Oh,
he yeah,
interesting.
avid drinker and a smoker, because once you are very calm and inside yourself, I
Mhm.
think your body naturally gravitates towards what's good for you. So I would
Yeah,
say my
more
spiritual
peace and
upbringing,
less
yeah.
stress. Yes.
So my
Yes.
parents didn't bring me up to make money and then have a good life, because that
Yeah.
wouldn't have me give me that much majority, right? Maturity.
Yes.
My parents brought me up to be very spiritual, trust the process, like have faith. Doesn't matter what you call your God, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
can call him anything or her
Yes.
anything. And also, I grew up in a place where there are lots of female goddesses. I think that also was part of my strength. Like we have Lakshmi, goddess of wealth.
Yes, I
We
love
have
Lakshmi.
Durga, the goddess of, no, sorry, Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. We have Durga, the fighter goddess, who is
Uh-huh.
like, who can kill all the demons and is very strong against all odds. She rides like a tiger. And then
Yes.
we have Kali, which is the most powerful of the goddesses. She's like totally, like Kali means black in Hindi.
Yes,
So
yes.
she is like so angry and so aggressive that she has turned almost like darker
She can
and
get through any
yeah,
obstacle,
any obstacle. So I think
yeah.
that was also one of the reasons, because I would like see if I have a role model who is more female, it gives me more strength as a female,
Yes,
right? To
yes.
look up to. So those were some of the things, and also always like give others benefit of doubt till they prove otherwise.
Yes.
And
See the
non-attachment.
God in everyone. Yes,
Yes.
of
And
course.
non-attachment is a major thing. I would say, like, of course, I want my red Ferrari, right? I want my company to be a $1 billion company, but I'm not attached to it. I'm equally happy without them in my life.
Yes.
And like you were mentioning before, that, okay, right now I can laugh about all that. Yes, I can. And that's why I'm talking. Before, when I used to talk about it, used to start crying. And so I stopped talking about it
Yes.
till I was
Yes.
totally healed. So now I'm healed enough that, okay, that pain cannot resurface, right?
Right, right. Do you still practice meditation and yoga?
Every day. Actually, yoga I haven't practiced recently because I have a ligament injury in my wrist, so I have
Uh-huh.
to let it heal. But the meditation
Yeah.
every day without fail. I start with it. And I would say one good side effect, which especially the women will love, I haven't worked out since my injury, which was in July.
Uh-huh.
Still, I haven't put on much weight, and still I fit into my size zero clothes because of the meditation. Because
Size
meditation,
zero.
yeah, because meditation makes you, I think it programs your mind in a way that you only take in as much energy as you use. So basically, you will
That's
only eat
interesting.
or drink anything which of the energy which you are pretty much using. So when I work out more, I like eat more, right? Or I eat
Right.
more things. But when I don't work out, then I eat less things. So basically, overall,
Yes.
body remains balanced.
Yeah, which is normal because if you're expending more energy, you got to put
Yes.
in more energy. But
Yeah.
I do believe too, I've been meditating for a long time, and I think what happens is that feeling of kind of peace and calmness sort of permeates the entire day once you start your day with meditation, and you don't make stress kind of decisions, and you're not quick to shove things in your mouth and eat.
Yeah.
You're a lot less stressful throughout the day when you start meditation. Is there any particular meditation practice that you use, or is it just silent meditation?
So for me, it is silent, but it's different than other meditations in the sense, like, I have been trained in different kinds of meditation, right?
Hmm.
Especially
Yes.
since I opened my happiness factors. But the one I do is a set of 7 breathing exercises.
Hmm.
So it's also very good for people who get allergies and they have to take, like, they get sinus issues and stuff.
Hmm.
It pretty much cleans it up. It makes your intestines more healthy because of the different breathing types of breathing you are doing. And
Hmm.
also it cleans up your throat from inside. And it has lots of, I would say, medicinal benefits apart from the calming benefits.
Hmm.
Because when I teach this class, people tell me that it not just makes them relax, but makes them feel very high energy, which are very
Yeah. And
fantastic.
and people don't realize that just,
Yeah.
breathing is actually, and just being focused on your breath, whether that's deep breathing or short breathing, whatever that is, to be focused on that is really important. And it is a meditative practice just in it of itself to
Mhm.
breathe.
Yes.
And we tend to, sit in front. And as you were talking, I was like, oh, am I breathing? We tend to sit in front of our computers all day, and we forget to breathe. We're like holding our breaths because everything's so stressful. And,
Yeah.
it's really important. I mean, there are a lot of apps and stuff that, make you breathe. But fast forward to today, speaking of apps, how did you make the leap into being a happiness entrepreneur then?
So after I went through my journey of several years of learning lots of holistic methodologies and not just healing myself through them, but most people get PTSD with less than what I faced, right?
Mhm. Yes,
And
yes.
I don't have any PTSD. I'm totally healed, and that's why I'm so happy, like you see me today, right now. So I would say, and I knew that most people here, they know meditation, but they don't know the whole extent of it. Like, they do yoga, but they do yoga only for stretching. Yoga is a
Hmm.
whole lifestyle, right? So
Yes.
I wanted to combine yoga, meditation, mantras, sound healing, Vedic teachings with the psychology, the neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy to create unique solutions that would not just help you get rid of an issue, but also make you healthier, more happier, and
Hmm.
give you mental wellness, like, long term. So that's why
Hmm.
I decided. And because I'm from tech, and I know that most people in tech won't go to a like 2 day seminar. So I decided
Yes.
to put AI behind it and make it accessible wherever people have internet access.
Right. So you have your happiness. It's on an app. We should tell us a little bit about how the app works.
Yeah. So the happy dog you see behind me, that's the AI which takes you through the
I know.
whole.
I will say, and I'll tell our listeners, I went on the app, and it's just this, like, you feel like you're kind of transported into like a little child's wonderland sort of thing, and it actually reminds me
Uh-huh.
to about, to rekindle that childlike, exuberance and happiness that you have when you're a child, that innocence. So
Yeah.
I do like that. It's very, very fun.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, I purposefully did that because see, when someone is stressed out or anxious or fearful, they don't want anything complicated. And
Yes.
who wouldn't feel happy seeing this cute little puppy dog or playing like a very easy game, right? Where they don't even
Yes.
have to think, just
Yeah.
get a little bit of a relaxation. So that was the whole purpose behind creating it. And I would say the app has is a little bit gamified, which takes you um, through the process. And based on your answer, it will pull up a threefold solution: one guided meditation, one activity, and some psychological tips. And
Hmm.
this is the first version, so it has only 15 minutes. It will give you a score in the end, and based on your score, if you get 10 out of 10, that's fine. You are perfectly happy. But if you didn't get that, if you got 2 out of 10, then it will suggest you to get some
Yes.
coaching sessions from us or some courses from us. If you got something in between, then it will maybe only suggest a course or tell you to play
Yeah.
a game again to get
Yes.
happier. So
Mhm.
based on your score, basically, it decides what the next steps would be.
Right.
And we have 30 more modules we are developing now.
Wow, wow. And when it's out now, right? The Happiness Factors out.
Yeah, and
Uh,
the good thing is because so many people got laid off, we have made the Happiness Factors app available for free in both Android and iOS stores for
mhm.
this holiday season.
Oh,
So
that's
till
wonderful.
December 31st, they don't have to pay anything.
Yes, yes.
They can just download it, get
What do
happy.
you think, when I'm sure when you created this app, you had a lot of groups that you talked to about, what people needed in terms of
Yeah.
mental illness, and you're actually incorporating a lot of modalities, methods, et cetera. What do you think is the biggest block to people being happy?
I would say biggest block is people expect too much and they appreciate
Mm.
it too
False
little.
expectations.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
they appreciate too little. See, I would say like and nothing in life is permanent. If people believe that and they even though they it's good to have nice things and I'm not against the nice things, but don't get too attached to them because anything can go anytime. Like if you see the people in the Fort Myers, they lost everything in one storm,
Mhm,
their house,
mhm.
their cars, their furniture, everything, right? So, but the
Yes.
people who are attached will be more upset or more, I would say, depressed than the ones who are not. They will build their
Mhm.
life again. So, I would say that enjoy the good things in life, but don't get too attached to them
So
because
those are
in life,
two.
nothing stays a constant, right? Everything is a moving.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. So, I would say, if I would translate that into my words
Mm.
in terms of some of my teaching and courses and books, I would say enjoy the present moment,
Yes.
right? Whatever it
That's the
is,
most.
whatever
Yeah.
you have, even if you are experiencing pain and challenge, just know that that will change, because everything does, whether it's good or bad, it's going to
Yeah.
change. And also gratitude,
Yes.
as you said, appreciate. Gratitude is so important, and that brings you back to the present moment. And so do the practices that we've been talking about, yoga and meditation. They all do the same thing. They bring you into the present moment so that you can just be, right, instead of do, instead of wish for something else that's not
Yeah.
there, instead of expect, like you said,
Mhm.
have poor expectations,
Yeah.
or expectations that don't come through. And that's a surefire way not to be happy, right? What are
Yeah.
there any other tips you can give us about enhancing our mental wellness or happiness?
Yes. I would say neither let praise or criticism impact you. Because
Mm.
if people let either especially the criticism, many people they feel totally broken or they can be manipulated if they take in the praise too seriously, right? Many
Yes.
times when people need to get things done, they will be like over I would say in their praise and stuff. So take it both again, like I would say again, non-attachment. If you practice to it, then it will make you happy. So and also don't compare yourself with anyone. You are enough as you are. You are see, there are so many people and you are one unique person out of that. So
Yes.
appreciate your uniqueness. And
Yeah.
many
And I think those
yeah,
two tips speak to kind of extremes, right?
yeah,
Is not to live in either one extreme, whether it's
yes,
the praise or the criticism, because I always tell people being in that neutral zone is the place you want to be. And
yes,
that's where
yes.
that's the unattached zone, right? Because the praise changes one day you're on top, the next day you're down.
That's so
Life is a series of ups and downs, and we need to kind of stay right in the middle, right?
no, that's totally true. And also if we are not attached to any of that, we won't feel too much of a loss when we don't have those things, right?
Yes,
Like be
yes,
grateful
yes.
in the present, and sometimes people tell me, "Oh, I have nothing to be grateful for." But be grateful for being alive today because not everyone got that chance, right? To wake up.
Exactly. Wake up and say thank you.
Yes,
I'm alive. And
yes.
also too, just be grateful for just everything in your life, the people in your life, and everything that's around you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's so true. I totally agree. So
Well,
see, in my life,
eh,
I was always happy growing up, and I used to win lots of awards. Only when I was with my ex, I mean, of course, I won one or two awards, but I was like totally not happy. I would say
yes.
not even living. And again, after I've healed, I'm back to that. So life is
Well,
too short not to be happy, right?
oh my gosh, absolutely. And if you've ever lost anyone in your life, you realize that, yeah, life is definitely too short not to be happy. Anita, you are just a bubble of joy for us. I just love having you on the show. Thank you so much for your lovely, happy presence here today with us today, and for all your insight. Listeners, you can find links to connect with Anita or find some free stuff on my site by going to selfpowernow.com/guide. I wish you all a very happy, happy, happy day. Come back and join us next time. Thanks for listening to Self Power Now. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, follow it on your favorite podcast platform, and join our community on selfpowernow.com and receive 3 free happiness gifts. And while you're there, if you're looking for more ways to be happy, healthy, peaceful, and loved, check out my books and new online courses. Until next time, this is Debbie Jasoni wishing you self-power now.